Okay, here's a quick little highlight on how I made the bottom tier of the cowboy baby shower cake. It is a 3-layer 8-inch cake iced in Swiss meringue buttercream that I colored to be light brown. This way, if I made any mistakes or tears when I covered it, it wouldn't be so obvious as a white icing. The paneling is made out of homemade marshmallow fondant mixed with homemade white chocolate, modeling chocolate that I color to be almost the same as the icing. I do like the lighter color, that way when I go back and brush on the details, that it kind of gives it some dimension. I then rolled that out really thin and pressed it on my wood grain impression mat. Now my mat was a little short for this cake, so I had to double it up. There's a line that you can kind of see through the middle. I did try to correct that while it was on the cake, and it wasn't working as well. So the other half of the cake, I did correct it while it was still on the counter after I used the mat, and that worked much better. This is the first time that I've tried using modeling chocolate, and it is a dream. The combination of the marshmallow and the modeling chocolate healed so nicely. I think the only reason that I couldn't correct it while it was on the cake is because my cake was cold and setting the paneling too fast. So here I am trying to correct it, add some more dimension and texture with my tools, and this is when I realized that doing it on the counter is probably a better idea. And so after that is when I trimmed around the bottom, and then I'm going to lift the top up and trim it with my scissors. I do go around afterwards and kind of pinch the top with my fingers to make it uneven and maybe a little wobbly, a little more natural looking, as if the wood had just been chopped down. Not trying to be perfect, and letting it happen organically kind of adds to that natural look as well. Here I'm taking a fork and kind of scoring the buttercream that's still on top, because I did not cover the top of it, I just left the buttercream on there. So when I do go paint it, it'll give it a little more texture on the top as well. I do leave that excess icing that I just scraped off in the middle. I pile that up to be more like a glue, so when I do put the second tier on, that it adheres a little nicer. From there I mix brown food coloring with some vanilla extract. This is about the third time that I've tried using vanilla extract instead of vodka. It works, but I do still prefer the vodka. It just thins it out nicer, it dries nicer, and the vodka evaporates, so there's no risk of having kids, inhale the alcohol. So now I'm just painting this on with a paintbrush and giving it that dimension. So I'm not trying to be perfect, just trying to get into those grooves to make it a little more natural. I then add that same food coloring mixture with a little bit extra brown into my airbrush. This airbrush, however, is not very good, and I do not recommend it. I only had to get this one after I broke my last one by knocking it off the counter. So I'm adding some coloring to the bottom and the top mostly. I do go in the middle a little bit to add some more shadows, but this really brings out all the texture on the bottom and makes it a little bit more realistic. And I'm also doing the same thing to the top where the buttercream is. I'm going to go ahead and add some sand to the bottom to kind of hide those edges and give it a little bit of dimension. My light box here on the video, it's showing really blue, but you can see how the outcome looks. So I did put it in my light box and lighten up the color, and this is how it turned out.